Carol Wertzman will be meeting with unit reps on September the 28th to revise the nutrition notebooks. Meals on Wheels, a new program that will start in Shaker on October the 4th, needs community help. A request for volunteers could be put in the school bulletins. Junior grade books. Mary Jo Grappi announced that the training course will be October the 28th and 29th in the high school social room. Legislation. Barbara Hawkins explained Senate Bill 530, the state budget balancing bill, passed in June, and noted that state aid to Shaker, after declining since 1979-80, will go up 63% to $1,165,975 in 1982-83. A candidates rally involving candidates for the State House and Senate and the State Board of Education will be held on October the 22nd at 9:15 a.m. in the social room of the high school. A first for council, this rally, organized by Barbara and Carol Goebel, will focus on education concerns. All are encouraged to attend. Barbara presented information on the national petition drive against tuition tax credits and noted that Shaker will participate and hopes to get 100 signatures from each school. Due date for the petitions is October the 25th. TTC legislation is moving fast, and advocates hope to have a vote in the Senate before the year is over. Carol Goebel summarized the 12 resolutions slated to come before the state PTA convention in October. She and Barbara recommended holding several in abeyance. She moved that council support resolutions 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12, and that action on 1, 4, and 9 be left to the discretion of the delegates. The motion passed. School community. Arlene Mayha reported that the Red Tag Day will be Saturday, October the 2nd. Tickets are available immediately through the schools. There will be at least one more concession stand this year and no apples. Membership. Jean Foxman reported that over 700 memberships have been processed, significantly more than last year at this time. Jackie Hochberg will replace Ella Martin on this committee. The program. Bonnie announced that the all-schools meeting on November the 15th will be a reception and forum for our new superintendent. Recreation. Sandy Jones reported that the net income from the fall athletic equipment sale, $1,561.48, will be given to the scholarship fund. 55 volunteers worked to make the sale happen. Teen volleyball will be held this fall on a pay-as-you-go basis, $2 a session. In the future, more adult volunteers will be recruited to staff recreation programs. Special ed. Bonnie reported that disability awareness seminars will be held in each building. Teachers are currently being surveyed regarding their concerns. Anna Way will be establishing a parent support group for interested parents of children in special ed. Scholarship. Lois Brucken reported that the net profit from last year's Shaker on Stage was $4,252.50. A total of $5,950 in scholarship monies was awarded last June as follows. $4,000 to 8 graduating seniors, $500 each, $1,500 to 9 teachers, and $450 for summer school tuition. Old business, none. New business, a short discussion was held about the possibility of council selling men's neckties with a Shaker emblem on them. The general consensus was that the idea not be pursued. Pat Mearns noted that a citywide survey will soon be conducted, sponsored by the schools in the city. A total of 1,200 people will receive the surveys. Results will be out after the first of the year. The meeting was adjourned at 11:55 a.m.
Are there any additions or corrections to the minutes?
We did not award 8 scholarships. We only awarded 7 because one girl isn't going to school yet. PTA.
Is that correct? Is that correct, Lois?
We had originally awarded 8, and then one did not go, right?
Right.
Who'd you go in January?
Well, she's thinking of it, yeah, but I haven't paid for it yet.
June.
One correction, Jackie Hochberg was not appointed to take Ella Martin's place, but she was assisting us until a replacement for Ella was before.
Lynn?
Did you get a chance to read the statement of purpose?
I read what you gave me.
All right. There was a statement of purpose.
You can give that in your report today. You be first because I'm going backwards. Are there any other corrections? If not, the minutes stand approved as corrected. Corresponding Secretary Carolyn Huggins.
I only have in the district, as I found by parents and members of the community, but that there's such active participation by parents and by other people in the community. I mentioned that this morning at the On-Away School when there was a breakfast given by the staff. It was sort of a monthly thing they do, and I was invited to it along with Ray Cutton, who has just joined the staff. And what I mentioned was the fact that understanding how concerned and interested parents are in what's happening with children in the school district, and knowing that there's a great expectation not only for the achievement of their children, but a responsiveness from the administrators and from the teachers. That's far better than if, you know, people just were disinterested, or people just sort of let things go on, and that we didn't hear about concerns until until it was too late or the last minute. I mean that sincerely. I hope that it sounds the way that I mean it, because what's impressed me very greatly in coming to Shaker is not, besides the warm welcome that has been received, is the fact that almost everybody I meet has a very firm opinion about the district. That firm opinion really is, for the most part, that the district is doing the job it ought to be doing for youngsters, and that they want to see that high quality is maintained. Now, I do know that there's a great deal of concern about the financial position that the district is in, and I see that as my job, not only to help resolve that, of course I have to as a superintendent of schools, but resolve it in a way that we maintain the high quality programs that Shaker Heights has been able to provide and afford to the youngsters here. It may sound a bit like a speech, but it's certainly clearly the expectation that the Board of Education has, and what they related to me in hiring me. I want to take a minute to introduce Ray Cutton, who is sitting here at my right, for those of you that haven't met him. Ray is administrative assistant to the superintendent, has been on the job now a little over a week and a half, and is completely inundated with work. And he comes to Shaker Heights from a place in New York State called Poughkeepsie, where he worked for me as an administrative assistant there. Ray's experience in education is over 15 years of teaching and administration, to include working as an assistant to the principal of a middle school, where he was a teacher for most of those 15 years, and then working in central administration on a variety of issues related to the operations and management of the central administration and personnel. I say he's the administrative assistant to the superintendent, but really Ray is more, at this moment, an administrative assistant to the deputy superintendent, Bob Morris, in the area of personnel. For those of you that may not know it, Bob Morris has indicated to me from the beginning of the process of looking at this position as superintendent that he intended to retire last summer, and that he stayed on in order to help with the transition. I'll tell you, he is an extremely fine individual, and he's a very fine administrator, and the help that he has given to me in this transition period is just immeasurable in terms of reaching out and extending himself and doing the job that has to be done. But he said he's going to retire. Bob also has a great wealth of information about personnel and how that process must work in Ohio, under Ohio law, and there's really no one else in the district that has that, as far as I know. Ray's job is to work with Bob to learn the process, to learn the function of personnel administration in Ohio, and working towards a process that relates to negotiations, and we are going to be negotiating some contracts with employee units. So there's a lot of time and effort that has to be put towards working with Bob, and it's a lot of effort in a short time, I should say. So that's primarily what Ray's major area of responsibility will be. That doesn't mean that Ray Cutton is automatically going to become a deputy superintendent because Bob has that title. What it means is that the function of personnel administration in this district will more than likely rest with one of the administrative assistants in the central administration, and that the individual involved here is Ray. I am looking at the organization of the central administration in terms of the people that are here and the functions that they perform. I do not expect to be filling any additional positions for the time being for a couple reasons. The biggest reason is I don't know where the finances of this district are going to end up and what the requirements will be for raising additional revenue, if there are those, and they've been projected right now that there will be. So I don't want to go ahead and start adding new people to the administration if there's any concern that we don't have enough money to provide for the programs, because the programs come first. So what we have to do is to organize in such a way that the functions that have to be carried out by the administration can be spread out by the people that will be here and are on board right now. I talked about personnel, and you have all those concerns related to the operation of the schools. You did have an assistant superintendent for secondary area that has that position is vacant. I'm not planning on filling that right now, so Art Steller, who is here, has had to take on the added responsibilities related to secondary as well as elementary education. Now, you know, it may sound like on one hand it's good to consolidate, on the other hand we might be spreading a little bit thin, but I've found the people that work here to be very competent. They're all very experienced administrators, and they are very willing to take on additional responsibilities as they've been handed out. There are also very dedicated and, again, as far as I can see, very competent principals in the schools who are part of the administrative council, and I ask of them, and as I've asked of principals where I was superintendent before, to be part of that process of looking at district concerns, not just concerns for their own school. Because what happens in one school affects what happens in every other school, as you well know. So the idea of teamwork and involvement by all administrators to fill in where vacancies have occurred and functions exist has been one of everybody's assuring me and showing me through their actions that they're willing to do that and to help out from the very beginning. And matter of fact, with a great deal of enthusiasm, and that pleases me. A couple of other things which I just want to mention to you because I want you to know that I feel it's important to get your perceptions as a PTA council and people who work closely with the schools on the final outcome to these matters. The plans for the district and where we're going to head in terms of new program development or consolidation or anything else that has to be dealt with. Those are plans which I've asked my administrative staff to work on with me to help bring some type of order to all of the various activities that are going on in the district. Some order that I can understand and I can communicate back to you and back to the public in general, and some sort of order that the Board of Education and I can deal with. And that to me means plans. They mean long-range plans that look to where we're going for several years down the road, and plans that say specifically what we're going to accomplish the remainder of this year and during next year. And as they are developed and considered by the administration, I would hope to have a way that your council can react to those and give me your impressions on what those plans are saying. Because there are so many things we want to do, we all want to have occur. But there's only so much you can do with the limited resources, and one of the limited resources we have is time. So we have to prioritize. We have to say, here are all the things we want to do, but here are the things that are most important to do. And getting a consensus community input, where community concerns are being taken into account. Because certain programs are put in place because there's a view within the community at large, or sectors of the community, that's important to have those programs in place. But every program costs money, and every dollar that's spent here has to be spent wisely if we expect this community to continue to support at the high level of support that it gives to this school district. And I feel very much that that is a responsibility that must be fulfilled in terms of assuring the community of Shaker Heights that the money that has been invested in the schools is being used wisely and effectively in the best interest of the students that we're trying to serve. And that's all the students. High achieving students, students who have difficulty with academics and need that extra help to overcome those difficulties. And something that we all, think about and are concerned about, but have a hard time meeting, or at least I think we often feel we have a hard time meeting all those students in between who are neither real high achievers or having difficulty, but deserve and we must see to it have a good, effective educational program that gives them the opportunities that they are entitled to. Part of that is making certain that it's understood from the very beginning of a program, and that's all parts of the academic program, what the expectations are. That curriculum guides are available to teachers as tools which they need to have, which say what is expected of a student to achieve at each stage of growth in a particular academic area, be it language arts, mathematics, science, and what have you. And there are some very strong areas that this district has in place in the academic program, and there are some other areas that need a great deal of work. And it's not so much that I discovered this. From the day I walked in, the teachers and the administrators in this district have been at work in committees discussing these matters, and I guess in many cases parents have been involved. A good example is the area of the science curriculum in this district and the work that has to be done there. It's recognized it has to be done, and teachers are working at it. And I want to see to it that the curriculum is in place, the program is well understood, the teachers have the tools that they need in order to carry out, and that we implement that which must be implemented to strengthen that area and other areas that need strengthening. And those that are strong, that they kept strong, and that we keep up with the times. Well, I probably went on a little bit longer than I really anticipated. I hope that
Here, and I think we're all here is for adjustment, but I think that they're probably making the adjustment much more rapidly than I am. So, and the other thing about the city that I've enjoyed so far is just the people and the fact that they've been so receptive and very friendly to us. So I do appreciate the fact that I'm here, and if I can be of any service to you, I do hope that you'll contact me and give us a call here, because we want you to feel as if you can call and ask questions and become involved. Because I'd rather have people involved than have those parents who, in some cases, don't get involved with the education of their children. Thank you.
Midwesterners, are you consider yourself Midwesterners or Mideasterners?
Depends upon where we lived before.
You live up to your reputation of being very friendly people. Bonnie, would you like me to take questions, or do you have time for that?
Are there any questions? I hope you will all get a chance to meet and visit with them personally. They're very warm, friendly people, and I'm sure that you'll enjoy it once you have the opportunity. And they're more available and not quite so busy. Are there any questions for Dr. Horoshack or Mr. Patton?
On the agenda, but I also want to say to you that Art is now the remaining assistant superintendent, as I mentioned, having taken over additional responsibilities, has been extremely helpful, willing to step forward and take on any task, and also helped me to, among many other areas, to resolve some questions that were raised about trick-or-treating and that sort of thing, and the role that we're going to play in the school district. So within his report, I'd ask him to comment on our thoughts there as well.
Just one thing, I saw there's something coming out from Lomond, and it says on there, just for those parents who are from Lomond, that it says 6 to 9 p.m. on October 31st, and I believe it should be 6 to 8, just so you're aware of that. I think it's a typo error, but that was something I picked up this morning, so.
One of the reasons that everybody's been so nice to these two gentlemen is because we want them to share the work. So. I've especially said that about Ray. You can't say that so much about your boss. But one of the items left over from last PTA Council meeting was the question about youngsters standing up on buses. Now, so you